Today we're going to talk a little bit about straps, bracelets, NATOs, pretty much anything you can use to secure your watch to your wrist. Straps are very, very comfortable because of the way they form to your wrist. The more you wear it, the more it breaks in, the more it becomes your personal strap on your watch. Anytime we sell a watch, we put a new strap on that watch because we don't want somebody else's strap and just the way it fit on their wrist to fit on yours. We want that strap to actually form to your wrist. And once that strap does, it actually becomes its second nature that watch is just sitting on your wrist. And that's one of the reasons I really like any kind of strap on a watch. You see so many different variations now in watch straps and ways to just attach the watch to your wrist. Anything from NATO, which is what I really prefer. They're very, very durable, very tough, very, very comfortable because they're so light. Leather straps. Leather straps, the classic strap. You have, it's made from either ostrich, could be alligator, could be lizard, snake. You can have any kind of animal you could think of because everything has leather. Composite straps. That was a little different because you have actually a leather that's bonded to a rubber. I personally have a Stingray strap that's bonded to leather and to rubber. It's a beautiful strap. Just the look of it is just like armor on the outside, but it's as soft as silk on the inside. Hublot makes a composite strap, which is alligator or whatever kind of animal you have on the outside of a heavy piece of rubber. Hublot is the brand of fusion, so they put different materials together. And even in the straps, they do that too, where you have this beautiful, beautiful finished material on the outside, but it's also so strong because you have a thick rubber on the inside, and they're fused together, they're composite together, sewn together. When you put a Hublot strap on, they're so unbelievably comfortable. People ask all the time, can I swim in my leather strap? It depends. There's no clear-cut answer to that. If you have a leather dress strap, which is leather on the inside, leather on the outside, and when I say on the inside, that goes against your skin. If it's not rubber impregnated or rubber fused, then no. Then I wouldn't go swimming with the watch because what it's going to do, it's going to break that leather down. And plus, when you come out of the water, if you're in salt water or anything, it's going to deteriorate that leather at a faster rate. However, when you start talking about composites, when you have that leather, when you have a stitched leather strap that's stitched to rubber like Hublot uses, you can go in the water all day with that, and it's not going to matter because that rubber actually holds everything together. The rubber is actually the strap, where the leather is just like a furniture on top of it. It's a decoration on the outside of it. So there are ways to do it, but you have to know what kind of strap you have before you're getting into the water with it. NATO, no problem. When you look at dive watches, a lot of the Panerai dive watches, they come with a large NATO strap. Why is it so big? Because it's made to go around your wetsuit. You wear it on the outside of your wetsuit. And they're very easy to change. You put it on, you can go ahead and strap that watch on your wetsuit and you can look at the thing all day while you're underwater. When it comes to bracelets, it's personal preference as to what you like. They all wear different, they all feel differently. The bracelets historically are made out of the same material that your watch case is made out of. So if you have a gold case, you're going to have a gold bracelet. If you have a steel case with gold furniture on it, you're going to have a two-tone bracelet. You're going to have platinum, you're going to have platinum. Platinum's not one of my favorites for a bracelet just because of the screws. Platinum, for the most part, even though it's a very, very dense and heavy material, it's very soft as well. Screws, they break far too easy on a platinum watch. Different styles of metal bracelets. You have, when you talk about Rolex, you have the Jubilee or you have the Oyster. The Oyster are the longer links. The Jubilee, you have many small links. When they came out with the new GMT, they made the new GMT on a Jubilee bracelet that's just absolutely gorgeous. It doesn't fit any other watch because Rolex doesn't want you putting that bracelet on another watch. The difference is on a Jubilee, it has so many different hinge points, it just rolls around your wrist and they're very, very comfortable. And it's a much dressier look than you would have if you had an Oyster bracelet. It all goes back to personal preference. I have watches that have Oyster bracelets on them. To me, the Jubilee has a little more sparkle to it. It's a little dressier. Where the Sporty, you go back into the Oyster bracelet because it's more robust. It's more sturdy. You have more metal there holding it together and less joints. Rolex did one thing that a lot of companies don't do is they put a dive extension on a bracelet. So what's the reason for the dive extension? The same thing as for a NATO, where you can wear it on the outside of your wetsuit. So you actually, if you open up a Rolex clasp, it actually has a fold out where it adds about 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch extra that's built into the bracelet. That's not for making an adjustable like we talked about earlier. That's for going over your wetsuit. So you can go ahead and go diving with it. The main thing I recommend to anybody, go dive with your watch. You're never going to go deep enough to have to worry about it. The watch itself, just be sure you rinse it off when you come back up. Freshwater bath. There's different ways to put a bracelet together too. The traditional way was actually pins and rivets. When we talk about rivets, we're not talking about the kind of rivet that you use to put two pieces of metal together, but it's a tube that the pin goes through and it actually pinches on that tube. The problem with that is over time, the tubes actually stretch out so the pins become loose. And you'll see this in a lot of older Omega Seamasters where the pins actually start sliding out the holes. It's an easy fix. All we do is we change those rivets, we put new pins in there, and that bracelet's as good as new. Where we run into a bigger problem is on some of the older Rolex models, especially the gold pieces, the hinge point was actually the screw, and the screw would actually stretch or the screw would cut in, and so that bracelet actually has a lot of stretch to it. So when we get into vintage pieces, they're treated a lot differently. A lot of times it's not in the budget to actually rebuild a gold bracelet, but that bracelet still has its own value. Some of the newer innovations in bracelet design are bracelets that can actually be sized or even taken off the watch and changed out without any tooling. JLC, on the new JLCs, you can actually pop the strap off, put a bracelet on the watch. Vacheron did the same thing with the new Overseas. It's a quick detach, so you can actually change it without any tools. Very secure. Hublot has a button on the top. You could pop the strap off, change straps, put a new strap on, be good to go in literally seconds. Some of the things we start seeing in bracelets more recently is the advent of adjustable clasps. So normally when you have a bracelet, the good thing about having a strap is you have multiple holes. So if you're living in Philadelphia like we are and you fly down to St. Thomas where I used to live, your body's going to swell up a little bit. It's just from the heat, you swell up. So if you had a bracelet that actually fit you perfect, you go down there and boy, it's kind of tight and you really don't notice it. You find yourself just kind of moving the watch on your arm as it tightens up. Anyone that travels knows this and has been through this. So one of the more recent advents is actually having a clasp that gives you a little bit of adjustment. So you can actually, the ideal thing is to have that watch fit to you so you're in the middle of your clasp adjustment. So you can actually go a little snugger or you can go a little looser, depending on the climate. And you can just reach down and usually open those up and close them while the watch is on your wrist. Or on some of them you have to take it off and the adjustment's actually on the internal. And that's one of the things that was lacking prior in bracelets, where once it would fit to your wrist, that was it. But if you traveled, they weren't the best. Now the newest thing in bracelets is actually being able to size that bracelet without screws and without tools. Being able to just push a button, have something pop out, and actually be able to take that link out and put the watch back together. I think it's a great idea. Time's going to tell how it holds up, the durability of it, but the way they're machining parts now and the new CNC designs of how they're actually creating things, that the tolerances are so tight, I think they're going to last a long time. And I'm very excited about where the bracelet design is going because of this. This is my take on bracelets and straps. If you have any more questions, hit my Instagram. Thank you for watching, and I hope you liked this video. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more content like it.